All right, how's it going, guys? Today is Monday, August 31st, and this is your social studies lesson for the day. So first off, I want to go over the warm-up so that you have a warm-up posted on Google Classroom. So go to Google Classroom. It'll be titled Monday Warm-up or Tuesday Warm-up if you're meeting with me on Tuesday. It says, on Friday, you read an article about a people called the Nasarema. Using what you remember from the article, write a claim about the Nasarema and back up your claim with evidence. An example claim has been written below. So we've been talking about writing claims and supporting your claims with evidence. We've done that for the past 2 lessons. So this is more practice for that. Now, to remind you, or if you haven't been with us yet, a claim is basically you are stating what you believe to be true about whatever we might be looking at, whether it's a piece of writing or a picture or something like that. So in this case, it was a piece of writing that we did for our assignment on Friday. I want you to state a claim about something that you think you know about the Nasarema. Okay. My example claim is this, and you can use this format. I would like you to use this format. That's how you're going to convey your ideas the best way. So most claims are going to start with I think or I believe. So mine says, I believe the Nasarema were afraid to die. That's my first sentence. My second sentence backs up my claim with evidence from the text. So I believe the Nasarema were afraid to die. I think this because in the text it talks about how the Nasarema would go through crazy rituals every day because they thought it would take care of their bodies. That's something that I remember from the article. So I stated my claim, and then my second sentence is using evidence from the text to back up my claim. So pause the video at this point, go ahead and answer your warm-up, and we'll move on from there. Okay. All right, so we're through the introduction and warm-up. I want to briefly review my rules and expectations. A couple things have changed, and I want to go over those. So first off, my number 1 rule has not changed. Don't be a jerk, be awesome instead. Okay. If at any point while you're online in my classroom, or if you're in my classroom personally, if we go back to school, I want you to ask this question to yourself. Am I being a jerk? Okay. Before you do anything in my class, before you do anything, I want you to ask yourself, am I being a jerk? If the answer is yes, don't do it. Okay. Be awesome instead. I have a list of ways that you can be respectful, responsible, and safe. I'm not going to go through all of those, but you can read those here. Okay. And these are some procedures that I want to go over. So first off, beginning and end of class. At the beginning of class, you'll notice this is different. We're logging on and using Microsoft Teams from now on. The app is downloaded on your iPads. It was pushed out over the weekend, so it's not even something that you have to download. It was automatically downloaded for you. Okay. You do need to log in using your JCPS email. That is how you access Microsoft Teams. If you're accessing it any other way, if you're logged into a separate account, you're not going to be allowed into the meetings. Okay. So make sure you're logged in using your JCPS email. We're going to meet on Microsoft Teams every time you have class. So I will post the link on Google Classroom like 5 minutes before, and you can join the team. Second thing, check Google Classroom for your directions for the day. Every day I post an assignment, sometimes a warm-up, and so just check everything on there is going to tell you what you need to do for the day. Most days I do have a warm-up, so at the beginning of class, join the Microsoft Teams, and then you can begin working on the warm-up. Okay, most days are going to have some kind of warm-up question. And finally, at the end of class, I will dismiss you from my class with my dismissal phrase, which is don't forget to be awesome. So I will say that phrase, and that is your cue that you can leave and go work on whatever you need to work on. Turning in assignments, I want you to make sure that on Google Classroom, I'm posting all of your assignments on there. You need to make sure when you're complete with those assignments that you're hitting the turn in button. You clicking that turn in button gives me notifications on my end, and it tells me that you're ready for me to grade your assignment. If you're not hitting that turn in button, I have no idea that you did your work. Okay, so you need to make sure you're hitting that turn in button. Otherwise, if you don't turn it in, I'm going to put it into the gradebook as a 0 until I get that notification that you've turned it in, and then I'll go back and grade it. Okay. Distractions, please try to stay focused. Our classes being online, it's very easy for you to go be on a different website or to be on your phone. I just want to tell you, though, that a lot of times in class, I'm going over work from previous classes, and I'm giving you a chance to correct your answers. Okay. And if you're not paying attention and you're being distracted, you're on other websites, you're going to be missing those answers, and it's going to affect your grade. Okay. And lastly, absences. If you're absent, check Google Classroom. Every lesson, I post a video review of the lesson, so you can attend even if you missed class. And I have this YouTube channel set up for 8th grade social studies. I have this YouTube channel set up for 8th grade social studies. You can click this link here, and that will take you to the YouTube channel where I'm also going to have the videos posted like this. Okay, moving on. That's my rules and expectations. Now, I want to talk about the share arrow, which is called the share arrow. This is a function on your iPads. So I shot a little video, and I'm going to insert it right here so you know what the share arrow is. And I'm going to talk about annotations and how to add a comment in this video as well. So here's the video.
All right, this video is showing how to use the share arrow function and how to add comments to a Google Doc. So here's your assignment here. You select your assignment, brings this up. You don't want to edit with a PDF. You always want to hit this share arrow button right here in the top corner. Always hit the share arrow. When you do that, it'll open its own separate Google Doc. Okay, this is what you can edit. So whenever you want to edit, you just double tap the screen and it brings up the keyboard like that. Okay. Now to add a comment like I asked you to do in these directions, you're going to scroll, you're going to highlight whatever you want to highlight. So you can tap and you hold your finger down a little bit and this little bar pops up. You hit select. Highlight whatever part you want to highlight. So let's just say we do our first sentence here. And then you see this bar, it says add comment. So you're going to tap that add comment button. And then you can type whatever comment you need to into the keyboard here. Then you hit the check mark. So let's just do this. Hit the check mark. And there, the comment is in there and it highlights it. And that's how you know the comment is still there. You can select it and the comment comes up. Okay. That is how you comment and use the share arrow.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to go over Nasarema Part 1. This was your assignment from Friday. Okay, it's titled Body Rituals of the Nasarema. It's Part 1. Okay, so we're going to go over this together in class today. Now, the reason we're going over this is because a lot of you guys did not follow the instructions that I have on the top of the page here. A lot of you guys scrolled down and you answered these questions, which is great. That's about half of the assignment's point value. The other half of the assignment is annotating correctly, which a lot of you skipped over completely, or you didn't do all of the steps. So I wanted to show you how to do this, and we're going to basically kind of go through it together. So number 1 for annotation rules, the main idea. It says underline the main idea of the text. Okay. So the way I just showed you how to make a comment on your iPads. If you're doing it on the computer, it's a little different. You highlight and you hit this comment button here. Okay. You can type whatever you want to type into the comment. On the iPads, I just showed you how to do it. So let's do this one together. Number 1, the main idea. So this is our article. And the main idea, basically, I want to know what the article is about. And so what sentence or group of sentences explains what this article is about? Okay, and you guys should have read this already on Friday. So this article, you'll know, is about the Nasarema. Okay, it's about the Nasarema culture. And so I think the main idea for this article is probably you do these 2 or these 3 sentences here. So I highlighted it, and it says main idea, underline it. So I'm going to hit the underline function. Okay, so I have it underlined. That's step 1. Then it says create a comment. So let's highlight this, create a comment. it says in this comment, type the letter M to mark it as your main idea. So I'm going to type M. And then it says, write one sentence explaining why you think this is the main idea. So basically, the whole article talks about the Nasarema. These sentences explain explain what topics are being discussed. And then I hit comment. Okay, so there. That's my first comment. Looks like this. I underlined like it said. I typed the letter M to mark this as my main idea. So when I see this, I'll know, okay, you think this is the main idea. And I wrote a sentence. Okay, I'm done with number 1. So number 2. Underline 2 important details that you find in the text. Okay. So I've read this a bunch. I think an important detail is when they're talking about the latipso, and that some of the ceremonies can cause people to die. So let's highlight this part. Those who do not respond favorably to the potions of the medicine men often undergo a latipso temple ceremony. These ceremonies can be so harsh on a person's body that those who enter the latipso never recover. Sometimes the ceremony ends up killing them. Okay, so I messed up. So I'm going to highlight it. It says highlight and underline. We're going to underline this too. So underline, and then we're going to make a comment. It says type the letter D to mark this as a detail. So I type D. And then it says, write one sentence explaining why I think this detail is important. This detail is important because it shows how much or how important the latipso is to the Nasarema. The people go in there, and sometimes the people die from these ceremonies, but they still go and do these ceremonies anyway. So the place must be pretty important if people die there, but people still go to do these ceremonies. Okay, there's a detail. Okay, now this one says underline 2 important details. I'm not going to do the second one on this video. There's an example. I want you to find a second important detail on here. Okay, we're going to move on to number 3, connections. Connections to the self, to yourself, or to the world. Find a connection that you can make to your life or to the world. So what is something that is familiar to you in this article? So for example, something that seemed familiar to me, like the Nasarema seemed pretty weird, but this says that approximately twice a year, the Nasarema will journey to the Holy Mouth Man. Now, we don't have a Holy Mouth Man, but we do go see like a doctor twice a year, and that's kind of like, it's not obviously doctors aren't like holy men, but it's something that we do twice a year, and they'll like basically they can sometimes cause pain to us, right? The doctor, we get shots, and so I kind of identified with this. Okay, so for this one it says find a connection, we highlight it and we make a comment. Okay. So I don't have to underline it or anything. We're just going to make a comment. And then it says type an exclamation point to mark this as a connection. So exclamation point. And it says write one sentence explaining your connection to the selection. Let's say we don't have a Holy Mouth Man, but we do go see doctors once or twice a year. There. Okay, lastly, we have vocab. Any words that you don't understand, any words that are too difficult or you're not sure what they mean, that's what this is for. So, I mean, I know what most of these words mean, but so for example, we can do anthropologists. That's a big word. I want you to highlight it red. It says use the red highlighter, so we highlight it red. Okay, like that. And it says create a comment, type a V to mark it as vocab. So we type a V. It says, write your best guess of the definition, then look up and write the correct the correct definition. So my guess would be anthropologists are people who study other cultures. Okay, and now we can look up anthropologists. An expert in or student of anthropology. That doesn't really help us. So let's look up the definition for anthropology. The study of human societies and cultures and their development. So copy that, come back to here. The actual definition is anthropology is the study of human societies and cultures and their development. So I said anthropologists are people who study other cultures. Anthropology is the study of human societies and cultures and the development. So I was correct. Comment there. So I have all of my comments here. Oops, I highlighted that orange. Oh no, that's what color it's supposed to be. Okay, there we go. So this is how you properly annotate a document. This is something you guys are going to have to do fairly frequently. We're going to be annotating documents. This is a history class. We're going to be examining historical articles and things like that. And this is something that I want you to get used to doing. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. Now I have the rubric here. And to get full points for the annotation part of this, you need to have 5 or more correctly labeled annotations with meaningful margin notes. Okay, so that means number 1, you have to have it labeled correctly with either the exclamation point, the D, the M, or the V. Okay, you have to have at least 5 labeled, and you have to have proper sentences in each one. Okay, so this wouldn't cut it. I only have 4. That's because I didn't do the second detail like I asked you to. Okay, this would be like 3 points out of 4 instead of 4 out of 4. Okay. So make sure you follow these directions. This is how you properly annotate. Then you come down here and answer these questions. And yeah, that'll be your assignment being completed. Okay. Now, let's look back at our agenda. Talked about the Shero. We went through annotations for Nasarima Part 1. Now we're going to talk about Nasarima Part 2. This is your assignment for Wednesday. It's posted on Google Classroom. This is what it looks like, Body Rituals of the Nasarima Part 2. Make sure you hit the Shero when you open this document, just like I showed you earlier, so that you can type in here. You're not using the PDF view where you're drawing on the screen or anything like that. You want to use the Google Doc view where you can actually type into this. Okay. Now, you don't have to annotate this all over again, but I have the article posted for you at the beginning just for convenience because we're answering some more questions about this. Okay. So this is your assignment that I want you to complete for Wednesday. And I will see you guys again after that. Okay. So this was your assignment for August 31st. Thanks for joining us.